And so is he right? Here to weigh in, Democratic strategist Malia Fisher's here, along with GOP pollster John Thomas playing the middle seat, and Town Hall political editor, host of the Guy Benson radio show. Congratulations on that, Guy. You're now solo. Guy Benson. First off, Guy, was Tim Ryan helping out the Democratic Party there?
Well, yeah, because he's right. I think it would be very helpful to his party. It would behoove them to listen to some of that advice. But he was talking about the center of gravity of the Democratic Party, and it is moving in a very different direction. Now, you can look at some of the economic populism that some of them are espousing, and that might help with some of those voters. But many working class, middle America people are at least socially moderate, if not socially conservative. And based on the answers we're hearing from this party on virtually all of those issues, we aren't even talking about the same zip code here. They are way out there on the left and moving farther left.
The candidates were living in complete denial last night when it opened
of what?
up. When they were talking about the economy in the opening segment, and they were all saying how bad it was. I'm sitting here watching going, are we living in the same America? When they talked about, when Cory Booker talked about how Trump is terrible for small business owners, going, when you are that out of touch with where the electorate is, you are doomed.
But Malia, are they echoing where the Democrats are when they say that? Do most Democrats believe that the economy is not working for everybody?
Absolutely. Democratic voters are extremely concerned that the economy is doing well, but it's only doing well for the people at the top. The top 1%, corporations, ultra wealthy. So you saw Elizabeth Warren start out her segment right off the bat saying, I want to make this economy work for everybody.
But Malia, you know the stats don't play to that.
Right.
Do you know that the wages are rising at an average of 3% over the last 4 months?
Wages may be rising, but they're mostly rising at the top of the income distribution.
That's actually not true.
You're talking about wealth disproportionately going to the top, but if you look at unemployment, anybody who wants a job in this economy can get a job. It wasn't that way under Barack Obama and Joe Biden's tenure.
They can get a job, but they're going to be underemployed. They're going to be working multiple jobs. They're going to be shouldering healthcare responsibilities, caregiving responsibilities. They're suffering from medical debt. And you saw all of the Democratic candidates speak directly to those lived experiences of Americans.
We can pivot if you want to what they were talking about healthcare because it dominated.
It did.
No one brought up the fact that we're in a situation where Obamacare is the law. Some changes have been done on the outside when it comes to the mandate, but they're actually insulting Barack Obama's plan.
You know, Brian, one of the things that really struck me about midway through this debate last night, we were talking about health care and Obamacare for a while. They also talking about the Iran deal, arguably the two biggest accomplishments that President Obama would claim, domestic and international. None of the candidates on stage offered a full-throated defense of his signature policies.
None.
I think that's a
Joe Biden did last night in a tweet.
He'll do it tonight for sure. But of those 10, I think it was very telling that of those pillars of the Obama legacy, they are, speaking of the center of gravity, they've moved past that. On the health care point, I think policy-wise, the most significant event of the night was the most likely person to be nominated on stage, Elizabeth Warren, if of any of them, of the 10. She specifically endorsed taking 180 million people's health care away from them, private health care.
70% of which like their private
That's right.
health care.
They want to, it's funny, the Democrats have moved on to wanting to repeal and replace Obamacare by repealing and replacing people's private insurance.
And John, we know that two hands went up when that question was asked, who wants Medicare for all, and she was one of them.
Yeah, and to Guy's point, she's one of the leading candidates, not just last night, but period. And I'm expecting that all of the rest of the candidates will end up following suit. They're going to feel the pressure to shift even further leftward. And this is the problem when you emerge in a general election out of a primary like this, that you can't tack back to the center. You can't walk this back.
We just had from the Democratic perspective, tonight Joe Biden goes center stage. He was not brought up last night. We watched Julian Castro go after Beto O'Rourke. He looked at him as the #1, and he went after him, and he scored big points.
Yeah.
Do you think tonight that if you legitimately want to win, you have to go after Joe Biden?
Yes, I do think that you have to go after Joe Biden. There was not a fundamental shift that happened in the Democratic primary power play last night because people didn't go after Joe Biden. They didn't go after Elizabeth Warren. They didn't even actually spend a lot of time going after Donald Trump. So I think if you want to see some real movement in the way the primary is playing out, people are going to go straight at Joe Biden.
And if you haven't got enough Guy Benson, and whoever hits enough Guy, we have one lucky guy. You'll be in the middle seat on Outnumbered today. Do you know that? You're on the schedule.
I'm aware. I'm excited. It's always